As California continues to struggle with a rising crime wave, there's some good news and some bad news in making our communities safer. Coming up, we'll tell you what's going on and how you can join the fight to make crime illegal again in California. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and there is no mistaking it. There is no doubt. As much as the liberal politicians of California want to try to deceive the voters and their enablers in the liberal media play along, we have a crime wave on our hands in our state. Nationally, crime has actually continued to go down as America has a more aging population. Demographics have changed. The issue of public safety. So crime has been going down both in terms of property crime and violent crime. But there's one outlier, and that's the state of California, where both property crime and violent crime are up, way up. Last year, the property crime stats showed that there was a 7% increase in property crime. And let me tell you right now that is understated because many Californians no longer report property crime. Many of the businesses no longer report property crime like they would in other states because, well, nothing is done about it. So a lot of these stores have new policies that they simply don't report crime to local authorities because they know why bother? It doesn't make a difference. So that 7% number is likely going to be understated by at least 50%, because when you have businesses that have a policy of not reporting crime, and a lot of crime happens, property crime happens in these retail stores and businesses, it'll understate the issue. In terms of violent crime, the number is up by about 19%. Violent crime up 19%, and in some cities it's up even more. And again, we have a hard time getting good data in California because you have so many crimes that are occurring where people just simply don't report it because a lot of violent crimes are also not dealt with. The message is clear. In California, if you're a criminal, the politicians are on your side. Now, there is a little bit of good news and some bad news on the fight for making California safe again and trying to fight back against the crime wave. Let me give you the bad news first, and that is this absurd bill here. And this is the criminal records bill. This just went into effect this year. California is clearing criminal records, including violent crimes, to offer second chances. Look, I'm all for second chances, but I'm also for making sure people know what they're dealing with. And so having the ability to look at someone's past conduct and their history is an important tool. That's why all the other states do this. We need to know, did you commit a felony? Did you, assault someone years ago? Did you steal from your prior employer? All of these things are important to know about because, well, people have a right to know. If you've done something wrong, people in the future have a right to know because they need to take that into account before they put you into a position of trust. But California has this Senate Bill 731. Under Bill 731, Californians with felony convictions, including violent crimes, can ask for their records to be cleared. Sex offenses are the only exception. But let me just tell you right now, SB 145, which passed in 2020, September of 2020 is when that went into effect. SB 145 allows someone as old as 24 to molest a child as young as 14 and avoid sex offender registry, a mandatory sex offender registry. It's just insane. And so under the Senate Bill 731, all you have to do to get your record wiped clean is that you fully served your sentence, which in California, you don't fully serve a sentence. You could get 5 years and then you get released for early release for quote unquote good behavior. You finish up your probation and you've gone 2 years without being rearrested. Wait, 2 years? That's all it takes? So you can violently assault someone and then be put in a situation where you're dealing with nursing home patients or dealing with children. You could steal on a felony level millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and be rehired at a company. I mean, be put in charge of finances. Are you kidding me? 2 years? Recidivism is usually defined as someone reoffending within 2 years of release. So I think that's where they came up with the notion of 2 years. My definition of recidivism is not the same as the government. You reoffend within 10 years and you were a bad apple. This isn't a one-off thing. If you did one thing and you never did it again, and it's been 10, 15 years since, then I think most people would say, okay, you did something bad 10, 20 years ago. You haven't recommitted an offense, so that's fine. But the public has a right to know. Oh, I get it. Second chances. I'm all about second chances, and many people are also about second chances. But all of us who give second chances should know that we're giving a second chance. We should have the right to know whether someone had committed a serious crime, whether it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. But not in the book of California Democrats. No. They want to impose risk on you, expose you to risk, and deprive you of your right to know. Insane. Again, bending over backwards just to make it easier for criminals. Let's talk about this good bill. So I said that there was some good news. Let me talk about the good news. One good piece of news comes in the form of my friend Diane Dixon, state assemblywoman. She's got a bill called Kaylee's Law, and it allows lifetime restraining orders against perpetrator of major crimes. It's been introduced. By the way, Diane Dixon is a Republican. It's Assembly Bill 1931. I think it's a great proposal. Here's the bad news about this bill. Democrats aren't going to support it. They're absolutely opposed to the notion of a lifetime restraining order. They don't want Kaylee's Law. The state of Arizona already has Kaylee's Law in place, and we need to see this law put into place here in California, because there are cases where someone has been so heinously vicious to someone else, violent, sexually abusive, that there should be a lifetime restraining order that an individual can obtain against someone who's caused so much abuse and damage to them. So we hope against hope that AB 1931 will get a fair hearing in the assembly and get passed into law, but we're dealing with California here, Also, I want to give you some good news. There's a campaign underway to repeal Prop 47 and make crime illegal again in California. Prop 47, as many of you know, we've covered it on this podcast before. It downgraded all types of crimes from felonies to misdemeanors, which means that when you downgrade to a misdemeanor, there's no prosecution that occurs. This has also decriminalized a lot of drug crimes, which means that we don't have the ability to get these homeless people on a crime to then put them into a court-mandated treatment program. I'm not saying that we should put homeless people behind bars, but I do believe that we need to use the model that other states use to get homeless people the help that they need by using infractions of the law to put them in a diversion program using the court's authority. But Prop 47, which was titled a public safety initiative back in 2014, Prop 47 actually has led to the crime wave in California and the homeless spike in California as well. So at Reform California, we've been helping collect signatures, and many others have been joining in the coalition, a broad-based bipartisan coalition, to collect enough signatures to put a reform bill on the November 2024 election to reform Prop 47 and give law enforcement tools back. In essence, make crime illegal again in California. We've got to get this measure passed. And so if you are hearing about signature events in your area, please go to the Prop 47 signature events. If you type in Prop 47 signature event, signature rallies, signing event. You will find many of those on the internet, as well as try out Facebook. We've been doing it at our events at Reform California and collecting a lot of signatures that way with the help of our volunteer activists. Then once it's qualified for the November election, and I do believe it will be on the November ballot, then we need to take the next step to get a yes vote on this initiative. Please go online to reformcalifornia.org, and learn more about the Prop 47 reform measure, reformcalifornia.org. Please chip in a contribution so that at Reform California, we can continue to recruit, train, and endorse quality candidates for every office, whether it's DA and sheriff, all the way to city council and county administrators or supervisors, all the way up to U.S. House representatives and the state legislature. We need your help at Reform California to continue to fight to rebalance the state's politics and to pass these important reform measures, blocking tax increases, as well as making crime illegal again in California, the reform of Prop 47. So go on reformcalifornia.org, contribute. There's the contribute button, and you can also sign up to stay in touch with our campaign on various things that are happening in your area. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.